Set. Good evening. We're going to bring this special town meeting to order. If everyone could please shut off or silence your cell phones, it would be appreciated. 2, Richard Waldron, a resident of the town of Parsonsfield in the county of York, state of Maine. Greetings. In the name of the state of Maine, you are hereby required to warn and notify the inhabitants of the town of Parsonsfield in said county and state qualified to vote by law in town affairs, to meet at the town office at 634 North Road in Parsonsfield on Thursday, June 18th, 2026 at 6:00 p.m. to act on Articles 1 through 3 set out as follows. Article 1, to choose a moderator to preside at said meeting. Are there any nominations?
Nominate Norm Blake.
Is there a second?
Second.
Can we have at least 3 people to come and cast a vote, please, for moderator? I need 3 written ballots. Raise your hand. His name is Norman Blake. We have 3 votes for Norman Blake.
All right.
Do you, Norman Blake, swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Maine so long as you shall continue to be a citizen thereof?
Yes, I do.
Do you, Norman Blake, swear that you will faithfully discharge to the best of your abilities the duties incumbent upon you as moderator of this meeting in the town of Parsonsfield according to the Constitution and laws of the state of Maine, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
If you could sign there, please. Thank you, Norman.
Okay.
And it is all yours.
Okay, thank you, Danielle. First of all, for those who I haven't met, my name is Norman Blake. I am a migrant moderator, come up from West Baldwin tonight. We'll be conducting this meeting according to the rules and procedures of the Maine Moderators Manual as promulgated by the Maine Municipal Association. It's a compilation of the way people have been doing town meeting for over 2 centuries. It'll work for us pretty well, I am sure. Now, before we get going to the hard work, I'd like us to get together and do something we can all agree on. Will you please all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our nation? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks very much. The Maine Moderator's Guide is about 28 pages long. We won't go through the whole thing. Basically, all comments, questions, etc., need to be funneled through the moderator. Any registered voter will get a chance to speak if they wish. The only thing we ask, you may not agree with everybody, you may not even like them, but we must respect their right to speak their opinion, and everybody will get their turn. Okay. Once we get going, if you got something to say, if you're recognized, please speak right up and say your name. If you can't bellow it out real loud, there's a microphone thingy. Doesn't look like a microphone, but it is on this table. And if you feel your voice might need help, please step up to that. Everything you have to say is important. Danielle, what do you got? 1,000 registered voters in town? we've got about, I'm guessing, 10% of them here. You are the people in the town who matter and whose opinion matters. Okay, let's get down to brass tacks. Article 2, shall an ordinance entitled Moratorium Ordinance on Cannabis Licensing and Permitting be enacted? An attested copy of the full text of this ordinance has been posted together with this warrant, and copies are available from the office of the town clerk and will be available at the town meeting. Can I hear a motion? Been moved?
Seconded?
Moved and seconded. I think we're ready for discussion. Who'd like to speak for or against or in the middle? I saw your hand come up first, Cliff.
Couldn't. Try.
He tried, but you beat it.
I know. My name is Clifford Krolick. I live in the town of Parsonsfield. I just want to give everybody a little history of Parsonsfield just real quick because this all ties together. The town of Parsonsfield is made up of 5 to 6 villages. Now, historically, the main commerce village has always been Cedar Falls. That's where you go to town, that's where the businesses are. And I'm also the person who requested we get a moratorium together. So I'm the one who asked at our last meeting, and we worked really hard quickly to get it in right away. So to be clear, this moratorium is not against commercial use of marijuana in appropriate village areas. And because the town of Parsonsfield is 5 or 6 villages, those village people have a right to say yay or nay. And I'm here because the village people have spoken loudly in North Parsonsfield Village. And we got our act together real quickly and got all the petitions registered through legally, everything. And this is just a history. Keep in mind, there's 5 to 6 rural villages, and the largest one right now that has most of the commercial development is Cedar Falls. And again, I'm going to say I'm not against marijuana. I'm against marijuana in inappropriate places if the people that live in those areas are against it.
Further discussion? Way in the back, sir. I'm gonna try to keep bouncing side to side and up and down the rows. Yeah. Bellow right out.
My name is John Wesco, and I live in the middle village. I don't live in Parsonsfield. My first question is, I'm looking at number 3, and it says retroactive to June 9th, 2026. Why is it June 9th and not some other date?
You reference number 3,
Yes,
that's down in the actual
yes.
moratorium conditions. And what again is your question?
I see that it looks like June 9th was written over another date. More importantly, from what I understand, is that the retroactive date means that anything before that is in the process may get approved, anything thereafter may not. Is that correct?
That is correct. And it looks sloppy because that's my sloppy handwriting when I wrote June 9th.
Now, from what I understand from different people that I've talked to, that should be June 1st.
It was June 1st, and then we had an emergency meeting of the select board to change the retroactive date after several conversations with our attorney, and that's the date we came up with.
Could you tell me why the attorney advised that?
Well, I would say we have a fiduciary responsibility with the town to not spend lots of money on potential appeals, litigation, and suits.
Gentleman in the red hat, I saw you first.
I just wanted,
Your name?
my name is John Marble. Jen, I think I saw a letter from Arthur Smith, and I just want to clarify what I think was in the letter versus what you said that ended.
Who's Arthur Smith?
Hey, Cliff, one at a time.
And the gentleman back here has a good point. I guess what I heard was the gentleman referencing that anything that was, we would say, in the pipeline, approved or in the process can go ahead. Or does it have to have been approved by June 9th?
Yes, anything that's been approved by June 9th.
So anything that has not been approved subsequent to June 9th is subject to the moratorium.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes, on this side. Yes, sir.
First of all, if either one of you three are going to speak, I would like you to stand up and speak loudly. I can barely hear you. Now, I'm 76, so I know my hearing isn't that good. But you really got to speak up. And as far as the lawyers go, originally you voted June 1st, then you changed to the 9th, and I also understand you did that because a lawyer told you litigation might end up in your lap. Well, I'm going to tell you, the reason why we had this ordinance in the first place is because this whole thing wasn't done properly. So I think we should go back to the first and be damned of the litigation that one lawyer told you.
There's a couple here, way in the back corner, yes.
So just, my name's Kim Carson, I live on Budget Road. Just wanting to ask, and maybe for clarification purposes, because I may not know for sure, did you approve is the real reason because you approved June 8th, you approved him to get his license?
I assume you're referring to 04047.
Yes.
Correct.
So you approved it on the.
He has a conditional approval.
So he has an approval, and that's why it was moved to the 9th, because the 8th is that now he's grandfathered and in the moratorium won't impact him.
He does have approval now and he can move forward.
Thank you.
Yes, and, yes.
Hi, my name is Walter Schott. I live on North Road. And first off, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. We never see this many people at any of our town meetings except for when it's about pot. So thank you for coming for whatever reason. Then I would like to scold you all for being late. Shame on you. And the fact that we were late, the meeting started late, is just another example of why we need this moratorium, because we're not put together, we're not professional, we don't really know what we're doing as a collective group. So the moratorium buys us some time to do it right. I mean, we're going to be stuck with the guy across the street because, he's spiteful because we ruined him downtown where he belonged. And we're just going to have to live with that. But hopefully moving forward, we can put together some things that make a little more sense or a little less contradictory. And we can all move forward.
So you first? Yes. Yep.
I'm Gina Winslow, and I just wanted to react to the scolding part. I was in line here, so maybe take that into consideration. Thank you.
Yes, sir, way in the back.
Philip Wood. I'd like to propose we amend the motion to put it back to June 1st. Second.
There are absolutely no amendments to be made from the floor when there's a moratorium ordinance. That is illegal. That's legal. No amendments from the floor.
I'm a moderator, not a lawyer, so, Cliff again.
The initial reason,
Please speak right up, Cliff.
the initial reason why we asked for a moratorium was to act very quickly. So, what was the number he was? Well, whatever that number that property is. So we would be able to stop him. So the fact that it was a date change right in front of 5 of us sitting there, we had no voice. Selectmen chose to do this without us. Not everybody.
I'd like to move that after we vote on this article, we put a second article on the floor to retroactively put this back to June 1st.
Unfortunately, we can't do that. MRSA 2523 talks about the warrant and the articles in it. And basically, if an article is not in a warrant, you can't put a new one on. And that's old state of Maine law, so that would be out of order. There was a gentleman in the blue shirt. You had your hand up?
Change my mind.
Okay, that's allowable too. Yes,
Kathy Libby.
please speak right up loud.
I would like to know, like, when this came through, it's June 1st, who has the right to change it without us all knowing that? Is this just between the board and the lawyer? Can you turn around and say, nope, we're gonna get it in by this date so that we can make sure this guy gets his place? Is this how this went? Because this has been how this has gone, no matter whether we've been in the meetings in the other room with the planning board or here. It seems like no matter what the people were trying to say in every one of these meetings, as soon as we walked away, whoever was sitting at that front desk in that room or in this room went the way they wanted it to, not the way we all wanted it to. And we're supposed to be the reason you had these meetings to find out how we felt. How we felt hasn't meant a darn thing, from what I can see.
Cliff, real quick. Hand right up. Hand right up, Cliff.
From your perspective, and you've probably done how many of these kind of meetings, 50 to 100 at least, has there ever been a request to amend an ordinance before it was voted on? Has there ever?
A moratorium ordinance. I believe Jen has got good legal advice, but again, I'm not a lawyer, didn't even watch Perry Mason when I was a kid, so you can't count on my legal judgment in those circumstances.
One more note. I want to ask Jen directly, did the lawyer tell you this is what you should do, or did he say you have an option?
Lawyers never speak directly or confirm anything without going back and forth. There was a suggestion made, and a lot of it had to do with finances and what the town would be up against. And we do feel like we represent the whole town in terms of its finance and cost. And we have we blew through our legal budget right off the bat.
So it was a suggestion that he made to you.
It was a highly recommended suggestion, highly recommended.
Yeah.
So that suggestion was up, and it's your choice to make the amendment, it's not our choice. And legally, you made these choices, but if we had been listened to from the last meetings right up, we would have been well in our guidelines to stop this legally and otherwise. But you played it down to the wire, so now none of us have a voice, and you make a decision for all of us. And is that legal for you to do that to all of us? I'm just asking, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer either.
Without getting into that part of the issue, articles on a warrant are essentially at the discretion of the select board. And
So if
they get advice from different sources, and
it's obvious that from the beginning, we've been in favor of this. So it's like that was the guiding line on that side of the fence. This side of the fence, no matter how loud we spoke, no matter how many meetings we've come to, we've been slapped down. And now what's happening is that even though we've made these moratoriums and we've stood up to it and had the right dates and the right times and done the legwork, that can be changed by 3 people that already obviously and want this to happen. And now we're all stuck with it. Because legally they put us in a bind that it's either our pocketbooks or we have a pot shop across the street that none of us want.
yes.
Well, I don't think that it's really just on the select board with this. back when they first wrote the ordinance and we all voted, you know, in the last time we had a huge group, we all voted that, yep, let's have recreational marijuana. They went through the whole process with the 2 guys and the 3 people down in Keyser Falls. Only 2 could win because of the way the ordinance was written. We had an opportunity to speak up and stop that because it was in the original ordinance. It said that North Village, this area was zoned in such a way that if someone wanted to do it, someone could. So shame on all of us for waiting this long. The only reason any of us are here, and I'm one of them, I don't want them in my neighborhood because people drive too fast as it is. And I don't want any more traffic. But I believe he's opening this in spite because we didn't let him open where he wanted to be. And if we'd done a better job writing the ordinance, he wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be going through this. But if any of us stood up and did something about it, when it existed, when they first said, oh, no, it should not be zoned for this place, and then I think it's over in Maple Crest or Maplewood or somewhere near the cemetery. They can put one over there if they want. And it doesn't speak to anything until we do something. So it's nice to blame somebody else, but we all have to take ownership. It's really all of our faults that this is happening here. And whether they change the dates or not, the law has always been, you get grandfathered in. So anything we...
One at a time, please, one at a time.
But the reason they moved the date is because he did everything he was supposed to do for over there. They gave him whatever approvals they gave him. And then we do this. Even if it went retroactive back to the beginning of the year, he still is protected because that's the way it works.
No.
Because
I'll get back to you in a minute, but I give priority to those who have not yet spoken on a particular article. But we'll get back to you. Jeffrey, way in the back.
Hi, my name is Jeff Wright. So there's a 750-foot buffer. Who wrote that into the place?
That was in the ordinance.
But who put that plan together?
Those of us that were involved in that, writing that.
That together or?
The petitioners, there were petitioners originally. Okay.
Well, and the backdating thing, it's almost like illegal. If we didn't have all these bills, these lawyer bills and stuff from the past, from decisions being made, ill-made, and if we had plenty of money, would we have backdated this bill? If we had tons of money and we could find anybody, would we have backdated that?
I can't answer that. It's not even, do I have a minute to say something?
Go ahead, John.
The petition that was handed to the select board,
Please speak.
the petition that was handed to the select board asked for action to be taken on permitting and licensing. I have a feeling that what I'm hearing is you have a very specific issue with the potential store across the street, but the petition never said that that was the issue. They wanted to adopt a temporary moratorium on the issuance of licenses, which is what we've done. We've developed a moratorium ordinance.
Yes. Yeah.
I get that, right, but this one here, this gentleman here that said that we all voted in, or the majority voted in, that we could have marijuana stores in the town. I think at that point, none of us would come down through Route 1 and into the villages and small town. We kind of assumed we were talking about in the business district, which most of us seem to feel like it's down in Keyser Falls. I don't know if I'm the only one, but that's pretty much my thing. It's like, I have a shop in Cornish, the strip, 25, that's our business district. It's not up on High Street or down on a little back road or in a historical village. So that, you're right, made a mistake back quite a while ago. Now, we've been coming to these meetings for quite a while, and I don't know about everybody else, but I've sat through them, and I know you guys have too. And I don't know how you missed up that everybody here was not happy with putting them in village settings. That one or any other one. It's not a misconception that his was definitely brought this to light. Nobody's pretending that we didn't know that. You people can't not have known that. We all have known that. So now the problem is we don't want him or anybody else in the villages, in the small town areas, in the back roads, in the country, to have these, period. And it's, yes, this one's been the one that brought it to light, because we're all like, what do you mean they can put it across the street? Okay? We all are aware that this is what this meeting's about. You guys have to be been aware of it as well. It's been pretty obvious. You have to be, did you know? Have you all aware of that? Did you all meeting?
I've been aware that.
Happy with the villages being infiltrated with this?
Go ahead, David.
I think we've been aware that the businesses can go into the village areas and not just cannabis shops, but other businesses, because that's how the ordinances, the land use ordinances have been
Did
written.
you know that?
Let us speak, please, one at a time. Go ahead.
This is,
Speak up, stand up, speak up.
this is not a new ordinance. It's been out for a couple of years.
I know.
And I'm sorry that you're distressed over the fact that it's in your neighborhood, but there was time to react before just following through that, which is what we're trying to do for you, is enact a moratorium so that we can reassess and rewrite those ordinances. But there are other businesses that can come to your neighborhood too that you might not like.
And my question is, did you all know that this has been a problem from the planning board to the 2 meetings that at least we've had with you folks, that this was the problem that we were all unhappy about?
I can answer that.
We just spoke, and when she stood up and said, well, you're making it seem like it's this over here, like that's not what this was about. It is what this was about. It's all been what this was about, and anywhere else in the villages and nearby. That's what this moratorium is supposed to be, is to change it all, and it was supposed to be change it all, and not just him, I'm not specifically saying him. We're trying to make it a group thing that from here on in, anything like that. The other question is, when I asked you, did you know that? Did you know we've all been upset about putting them in the historical areas, the small villages, the back roads? Were you aware of that for the past 3 months and going meetings?
You can answer it, they can answer it.
I can answer that.
I'll wait for an answer.
Oh,
I'll wait.
I'd like to hear it.
Like, that's fine.
Do you have a question?
I don't have a question, I have a statement.
We have a
I'm
statement.
not supposed to ask.
Speak right up.
My name is Adam Smith. I'd like to point out, to Walter's point, I had an appeal on the store with the zoning board, and they had to cancel my appeal. Just as it's proof positive that we need a moratorium, and it's proof positive that this town, I don't mean this to be rude, we're not prepared for what is here and what's coming. And if we don't put a moratorium in, the next thing will probably be a real surprise. I promise you.
No, I'll get to folks in a minute. One thing I'd like to point out is the question we have is, in Article 2, is shall we enact this moratorium as written? I think we're getting a little off track as to how this was all birthed and born and that sort of thing. So I'd like to keep on track a little bit better. But on the other hand, again, about 10% of the registered voters bothered to leave the kitchen table a little early so they could get here, and I appreciate that. So we're gonna continue discussion. Gentleman in the blue shirt, haven't heard from you.
The moratorium got put together with over 100 signatures on it, and it was written up as an emergency. It got turned for days before the attorney was able to put something together. An inordinate number of days, in my estimation. 5 of us sat in front of the selectmen one night and got the first ray of hope, if you will, when they said it was going to be read first. because that gentleman that everybody knows who it is had been given an approval on June 8th. We had an emergency selectmen's meeting 3 days later, and my heart went through the bottom of the floor. They changed the date from June 1st to June 9th because they were worried about getting sued by one man instead of 140 people that signed this document. That's all I got to say. Saving money.
Way in the back, I haven't heard from you yet.
Jack Hennessy, live in Parsonsfield.
Can you speak a little louder?
Yes, I can.
Belt it out.
Yep. This is in reference to the date change, and that's it. This is a perfect example of whatever happened to for the people, by the people. It is no more.
Josh Gurley. I would like to clarify, so you're saying that you did not believe or you did not attribute this moratorium specifically to this particular marijuana shop going across the street.
I think we've all been aware after the.
You said it's about all businesses, and that is what so you were well aware, because it would lead us to believe when the date was changed out of fear of retribution or possible litigation, that was the very specific reason. Right?
Jen, did you wish to respond to the gentleman?
We are very aware. We had a public hearing but did not receive a request for a moratorium except verbally at that time. And
you're aware that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to not break it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jen, finish and
The
then.
moratorium specifically could have mentioned that we do not want that store across the street.
It could have been more specific, but
Yes.
it was all clear. In fact, the decision you made regarding the date of retroactive was based upon that specific store. We're all aware, just so we're not, pretending it's about another business or it's about, everything. Although I will say, everybody here, it is serious, all right? Berwick has 32 marijuana stores now, and that will become our identity as a town. This is a small town guy compared to the large corporations that come into main towns to exploit them. We're on the New Hampshire border. It's illegal in New Hampshire. The plantation is going to be a superhighway of people coming to ride here and go back. And I am absolutely pro marijuana, but I feel that the two we have serve the needs of the town. So anything beyond that is serving who? Giant corporations, moneyed interests? I don't know. It's not. It is more than what is happening across the street, but clearly that is why we're all here. And my next question would be, and I don't know, as the select board, as civil servants, what is your job? Is your job to represent the will of the people?
Yes.
It is.
Is that your first job? First, you swear allegiance to the Constitution of the United States, and then you swear allegiance to the will of the people. So we were aware, we've established in this conversation, that you were well aware what the will of the people was. That's all I have to say.
So,
Hold on a sec.
this isn't an easy topic for us either, just so you're aware. So we represent all of you, but we also represent people that aren't in this room as well. And we received both pro and con letters, emails, phone calls, and conversations regarding this moratorium. And we are trying to protect your interests as well as the general interests of the town and the financial stability of the town as well. You can also vote, can I finish?
Yeah.
You can also.
Please be seated.
You can also vote this moratorium down, and you can write a new petition that will not stand as much of a chance as appeal as the one that you wrote, that's extremely specific to the store that you're concerned about. We are bound to the ordinances, whether we like them or not. I think this is a great chance for us to rewrite them and get them in order. I don't think that the original ordinances were given the best legal advice in terms of, it's already shown the advice gave us kind of crapped in the hopper. because of the legal fees the town's already seen. And they were given a distance barrier in order to maintain keeping them out of the original guidance from the original attorneys to the town board at the time in writing this ordinance was probably not correct. They were trying to keep them out of highly cost legal battles by giving them a 750-foot distance, but it was not specific about the number of licenses that are allowed in town. It was not specific about it was specific about the locations, but it is not necessarily what you all wanted. But that ordinance was voted in. And that's just the way it is. And it has been voted in for some time.
So, I see a couple of hands over here, but the lady in the striped blouse hasn't been heard from.
What I would like to say is that this ordinance, this moratorium was mentioned at the previous meeting. Everything was submitted and authorized on May 11th. So there was a lot of time and there was an obvious reason for this moratorium to come through. Now, I do believe it needs to be passed. Regardless, yes, there was a purpose behind it. It was clear what that purpose was. You may say that you've gotten for and against, but I think this crowd in itself is proving where the majority lies in their feelings on the matter. But the fact of the matter is, if we don't put together this moratorium, a 750-foot setback is going to not just allow this, but there'll be others. So we do need to get our ducks in a row. However, the statement that the ordinance itself, he's done everything, I will say, and I'm being bold by saying this, but there was plenty of reasons to deny his licensing. There's 750-foot setbacks he didn't have, there was buffering between his neighbors he didn't have, there was incomplete application he didn't have. Those are all within the current ordinance. As light as it is, and as much as it does need some work, there was plenty of reason that you could legally have denied it, and there would be no legal standing for them to try. It was a choice made, and people spoke at multiple meetings, and these meetings have grown every single time they've been had, and the people that are here are more on the side that I'm speaking than on the other. When we talk about being important people, we're trying to have you hear us, but you have clearly been hearing one person, and it's where.
I'm not going to stop debate on this because there's more hands in the air, more things to be said, but I'd like to take a temperature of the room. Without telling me how you're going to vote, yes or no, how many people here know how they're going to vote and they ain't susceptible to any persuasion or anything? How many people absolutely know how they're going to vote? Okay, thank you. How many people are still on the fence and might be susceptible to persuasion? Okay. That's all right. Now, we'll continue, and I have not heard from you tonight.
My name is Judy Ingram, and Mr. Moderator, you front.
Yep.
Is there some way that can go onto the table for the select board so that we can hear them?
We got one right here.
Maybe another one?
It's just for the video, Jamie. Just for the video.
Oh, that's for the video, it's not for PA.
Okay.
You just gotta stand up and belt it out. Okay.
May I suggest that when you stand up, use your outside voice?
It's an inside job myself.
Okay, I see, did you put your hand up or you just stretch it?
No.
Stand right up.
I'm Stan Clark, I live 653 North Road, Parsonsfield. First time I ever came to a meeting, town meeting or anything, because I always worked away, I was during the week, was when this all started. And from the little guy, the first time I come, and I see the man and his lawyer sitting in the second row, my first thing was, oh boy, we're in for it. And it hasn't changed at all.
Okay. Feller in the Parsem shirt, with the green hat.
Chris McQueen. I just had a point of order. from what I'm looking at, Title 30 of the main statutes allows for an amendment to be done on the floor in an open town meeting, which is what this is, show of hands. And it allows us to do it by a motion, a second, and a vote, as long as we don't alter the entire context of the article, which, or the amendment, or the moratorium. But it doesn't actually restrict it from just articles or moratorium articles. It says that it's capable of, you can argue my accuracy, but I want to go on the record as saying that we have the right to amend the article. If you fail to allow us to do that, that could constitute a different set of lawsuits and so on.
Well,
I'd like to repeat my initial.
My understanding is otherwise. Again, I'm a West Baldwin boy. I don't have a dog in this fight either way. But I'm going to suggest that the town either vote this up or vote it down as you wish. And if it doesn't come out the way you want it, amend the moratorium and bring it up another time. There are probably, from what I'm hearing, there's probably enough things that could be amended that would take more time and consideration and perhaps some competent legal advice than we'd want to do here. I'm always hesitant, not being a lawyer, to play a lawyer. So I'm gonna stick with that. I appreciate your comment, but that'll stand. Let me see, who else?
I just have a question.
Yes.
When you took your little vote there, my question was just this. Do we have to vote with the date being as it is? Yes. Or he's saying that it could be amended. What happens if we want this moratorium, but we don't want to vote something in that we can't go back and change that date?
My understanding is, this is the moratorium page. My understanding is that you have to say yes or no. Take it or leave it.
Just ask that question.
And again, you can come up to the plate a little while later and take another swing at something slightly different. Let me see. Yes, a red hat.
It sounds like we can vote it up or down, and whichever way you vote, I don't care about saying, I'm going to be voting up, but I may want to come back to the town to create a new amendment, and I think that's an option. Whereas if I turn it down, turn it down, we're at nowhere. I think that's how it works.
That is correct. You would basically, if you can get the select board to come up with an article to either change it in part or whole ahead of time, preferably with some legal advice to make sure we're not running afoul of all sorts of laws, and prior notice and all that stuff. Yeah, you could do it in another special town meeting and modify it that way. As a moderator, it's more cumbersome, but I have confidence that you will have an ordinance that is really what you want in the end.
Just one clarification. I heard two things, that approval was granted on, I'm going to say June 8th. Was there conditional approval prior to that? And if so, at what date?
Jen?
Approval was given on June 8th, and it's conditional. Everything that this woman back here spoke to is a condition of that license.
Okay.
Okay? I'm not a lawyer either, but in my conversations with our lawyer, he said you cannot make an amendment on the floor to a moratorium ordinance.
It's my understanding.
It can be voted down and another petition and an ordinance written immediately.
Okay, so.
That was his,
Tonight, immediately tonight, or like in the future?
in the future, I don't think you could get everything taken care of tonight.
So, just a second. Hands, who wants to talk, just so I know, and I'll get you one by one? Yes, way in the back, and then I'll come up here.
So it seems that the only.
No, wait, lady in the back. You're not way in the back, you're just kind of in the back.
So I also know that the Office of Cannabis Policy representatives have been here and you've met with them as well, correct?
I have not met with them.
Neither have I.
Okay.
I've had emails with them, but not recently. They are very difficult to get a hold of and respond to my emails.
Well, I spoke to someone there and I have found out that they do have the option to have someone and the inspector in our area could come out and they could provide some type of road show, for a lack of better words, and have an opportunity for everyone to ask questions regarding the policy, regarding their office and what they can and can't do. I'm wondering, A, if we need to do that, and B, is there a reason why we can't have them and or the attorney so that we can ask the same questions and challenge? Because I think we have a right also to ask those questions.
John?
Absolutely, you have that right. I did want the attorney here tonight, and he was not able to make it. And we did try to push this through as fast as we possibly could with conversations with municipal associations attorneys and our own municipal attorney. And nothing does happen overnight.
Cliff? You're not Cliff, he's Cliff.
So, obviously, we're gonna think seriously about voting up for this, voting for the moratorium. However, you're looking at a large crowd of residents here who expect, since you spoke to attorney, you're going to speak to attorney again for us and ask them, how can I write this so we can backdate it to the first, right? You're going to do that for us? You're going to take that on right away.
So I will take that responsibility. Okay, I feel like I've been doing a lot of the talking tonight for the board. I take the responsibility.
Thank you.
Not
Davis.
but
Just so you guys are aware, I hope you can hear me. If I speak louder, I'll lose my voice. We're not ignoring your desire to amend the moratorium. We were given legal advice that we cannot, and I'm looking, as you know, as Chris said earlier, to Title 30, that amending the text on the floor violates public notification and review of the warrant that was already posted, which would nullify that. And that's according to the Maine State Legislature. Maine Municipal Association lists that ordinances cannot be altered or amended from the floor of a town meeting. The article must be voted strictly up or down, exactly as written and presented in the warrant. That is the information that we have to work with under. It doesn't mean you can't vote it down or vote it up, and then we can come back and readdress it and take the time to correctly address the ordinance, bring in the Office of Cannabis Policy if they would quickly respond to us, and try to make this work for both sides of the fence.
Gentleman way in the back. I haven't talked to anybody on this side of the hall for a couple minutes. Please take your, there you go.
One doctor says,
More better.
wear a mask, another doctor says, you don't, what am I gonna do? My name is John Lesko. I'm asking this technical question. What would happen if another word had a typo in it? What would be the policy? Because the June 1st to June 9th looks like the equivalent to a typo.
From a moderator's standpoint, if something is an obvious typo, I generally ask for the consent of the group, generally ask for unanimous consent to say, hey, this is a typo and it stands, we'll spell the word correctly or something like that.
And those people here have said essentially that, but more importantly, what we're dealing with is a long history of mistakes that is nobody's fault. They go all the way back, not only to the approvals for the growing warehouse up the street, but as I said repeatedly in every hearing, that this is a mistake of the wording of village and village residential. Now, as I said before, we're going to keep papering this over, and we're asking for more and more trouble. Now, it's hard for me to believe that if we can change a typo in this meeting, and there was a change from June 1st to June 9th, after the fact, that it's hard for me to believe that we can't change this to June 1st today.
My thought on that is, I'm thinking of the sort of typo, I'm still writing the year as 1926 rather than 2026. I think if it was that sort of a typo, or a brain cramp typo, yeah. Yeah, Jen.
Again, I'll take responsibility for that date. The emergency select board meeting was on the 11th. I started to write June 11th as opposed to the retroactive date of June 9th and made it the 9th. And that's why it looks so messy.
Yes.
It's not a typo, it's my handwriting.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
It seems pretty obvious that we all want to vote tonight, more out of fear that if we don't put a vote in tonight, more decisions will be made and dates will be changed that will make it even harder for us all to stop what's going on, because we can't seem to stop it by just voicing our opinions at meetings that we're expected to come to, that want to hear what the community says. Nobody seems to be listening to that. Everything that we have been to for meetings, as soon as we walked out of a meeting that was for the planning board, with that was obviously heavily not in favor of this whole situation happening, making changes, more terms were mentioned that night. Everything that was said at that meeting that was supposed to be for us to be heard, as soon as we all walked out that door and got our cards, the whole thing was voted in. Then it got to this point again. This is our second meeting here. Okay, and again, what we all voiced our opinion the last meeting, and we got that paperwork in time so that we would be on the 1st, so that would be one of the ones that weren't started, along with many others to come. And yet, that first got ignored, whether it was because a lawyer said, one of you said he suggested we shouldn't, the other one said he demanded we shouldn't. I'm telling you, whether it was a demand or a shouldn't, is the fact that, so the lawyer says, don't listen to the townspeople, take care of this guy. So they did. All right, so this has basically been one thing after another with this whole thing. Everything we've gone to town hall, town meetings for, whether it's planning board or this, we've been rolled right over like we're not here. So if we don't vote it in tonight, we could probably get rolled over again between the time it takes us to get a new moratorium that's more specific.
Okay, Will?
Hi, I'm still Walter Schott from.
Walter, I got the W part right.
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine.
Good.
So the first thing I'd like to say is in support of the selectmen and the planning board and stuff, I'm sure they're hearing everything we say, but their obligation is not just to listen to us, but they have to follow the laws. The ones that we created in Parsonsfield, the ones that the federal government and state do. They have to do what is legally right. They have to follow the processes. And again, it's one thing for all of us to jump up and down and go, boo, bad, whatever. But if we don't get in there and change the rules, which we have the right to do in the proper forums, their hands are tied. Like this gentleman over here, realistically, he's jumped through the hoops he's supposed to jump through until we got here. And they made the decisions that they needed to make based on the poor ordinances. So that's my one statement. And then I'd like to move the question. Did I do that right?
Well, you did. Before you did that, before you moved the question, I saw Jeff's hand in the air. I'd like to briefly hear from Jeff, and then I'll get back to you if you wish to move the question. Jeff, can you be brief?
Yep, I will be brief. We're all here today to vote. But the sign up front says Tuesday, June 9th, 8 to 8.
and doesn't say anything about the moratorium goes on. I'm not saying who's responsible for putting the letters out, taking them down or whatever, but if everybody looks out there, it says Tuesday, June 9th, a date, so, on the billboard. So I really think we should need to update that. That's it for you.
Walter, I said I'd get back to you.
All right, so can I move that we move the question, or?
You can, yes.
Then I would like to do that.
Is there, the question has been moved, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Move the question means we terminate discussion and get to a vote. Now, we have to vote to do that. That question is not debatable. All those in favor of terminating discussion and moving the question, please raise your cards. Those opposed? Okay, we've moved the question. We will get to the exact question, which, it's been a while, I'll read it real briefly. Article 2, shall an ordinance entitled Moratorium Ordinance on Cannabis Licensing and Permitting be enacted? An attested copy of the full text of this ordinance has been posted together with this warrant, and copies available from the office of the town clerk and available at this town meeting. All those in favor of Article 2, raise your cards. Do you want a numerical count?
Oh.
It looks pretty, okay, all those opposed? Okay, it appears that Article 2 is accepted, but not unanimously, but by a large margin. Article 3, your moderator would now entertain a motion to adjourn this excellent special town meeting.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded. Again, the motion to adjourn is not debatable. All those in favor of adjourning, please raise your cards. Those opposed? Go straight home. Laws. Because it's too complicated to happen quickly from the floor. The same thing that Chris Redfern says.
I know we can't.
Violates the whole
The lawyer would have
process.
lost it.